Hello and good evening. You are very welcome to IT Sligo Open Evening. My name is Jacqueline, and in this webinar, we are going to speak about our Department of YIDA, the Yates Academy of Arts, Design and Architecture. So with that, I am delighted to introduce our panel and our schedule for today's talk. So first off, I'm going to introduce Bernadette O'Donoghue. Bernadette is going to cover our Level 8 Architecture degree. Bernadette, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Then we'll move on to interior architecture and design. I am delighted to introduce to the panel Masha Ruan. Masha, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening.
And lastly, we will talk about our Bachelor of Arts in Creative Design. And I'm absolutely delighted that we have a current student, Aaron Neenan, and Aaron is going to talk to us about his experience of studying this course and what he enjoys about it. So Aaron, you are very welcome.
Cheers, thanks for having me.
Okay, so before we get started, if anyone would like to ask any questions during today's event, you can do so in the live Q&A section on the event page. If you have any questions after the event, you can visit our CAO Hub where we have a live chat, so on the itsligo.ie website, and there's also on our social media channels. So let's get started. So it's a very exciting time at the moment within the department because we have a brand new building. So we had to have a brand new home. So an 18 million investment has created a stunning buildings and facilities for our students. So phase 1 has just been completed. Phase 2 has just started. So if you join IT Sligo next year, you will spend most of your time, if not all of your time, in a brand new facility. So I'll come with you and start with Bernadette. So let's look at our architecture degree. So this is a level 8 5-year degree. And a massive thing for this program is that it's been provisionally given the RIAI accreditation. So that's the Royal Institute of Architects of Ireland accreditation. Bernadette, can you tell us what is this accreditation and what does it mean for our students?
Hi, everybody. Yes, the Royal Institute of Architects of Ireland, the RIAI, is a regulatory and support body for architects in Ireland. And they maintain the standards for the architecture profession through registration of the title architect. And they also have the oversight of the standards of all of the different higher education places that offer architecture. So it's very important for students to study in a program that has professional accreditation. The title of architect is protected legally. And in order for students or for graduates to be able to call themselves architects, they have to be placed on the registrar for architects. And in Ireland, the professional body for that is the Royal Institute of Architects of Ireland. So when students complete the 5 years of the academic education in a programme of architecture, they then have to complete 2 years practice, sit a professional practice exam, and then they can register as an architect. So at IT Sligo, it's been very positive. So we were awarded the provision approval in February 2019. And like all new schools of architecture have to go through the same supportive procedure. And we are currently finishing year 3 of the 5-year accreditation process. And the REI will be visiting us again in April 2022. So it's all positive and for us here with our programme.
That's absolutely fantastic. And I know there's only 6 other accredited architecture programs in Ireland. They're all located in Dublin, Waterford, Limerick and Cork. So it's absolutely fantastic that we are serving the West and the Northwest region with that accredited architecture program. Yeah. So that's great, Bernadette. Can you give us an overview of the type of modules students study when they undertake this level 8 architecture degree?
Yeah, just even going back to your other point there, yeah, there are only 6 schools of architecture. And if you were to draw a line across from Limerick to Dublin, there aren't any schools of architecture above that line. So, so we're the only school in that northwest region of Ireland, just on the edge of the Atlantic. So it's very important, it's a very important programme for this region. So the main module that carries the majority of credits is the design studio. And in this module, students research, they would propose, test and develop and present their design ideas. So it's an exciting place for students to be, and there's a lot of collaboration happens within the studios. So all the students have dedicated drawing spaces, and here they spend a lot of their time, formally and informally, discussing their projects and their ideas. And, they form strong bonds with each other through that process. So other modules that are taught are sort of in the themes of technology and environment, context and theory. They're taught all the drawing and communication skills, and also the professional studies and management skills. So the learning from all of the modules are integrated back into the students' design projects, and that's what happens in the design studio. Also, all the modules are continually assessed with no formal examinations. So that sort of students find that a sort of a positive. And through all of these different modules, students learn the skills necessary to become hopefully great and responsible designers.
Oh, fabulous. And can you tell us, you mentioned projects there, can you give us an idea or give our applicants an idea of what kind of projects do architecture students undertake?
Okay, so yeah, the projects range from abstract to real projects, and they're usually sited in Sligo town and its beautiful landscape. So we select sites that may have issues. So they're either buildings that need repurposing or sites that may have become disconnected and are not working for the urban positive good of the town. So we address a lot of local and global issues through these projects. So the projects include everything from designing homes and housing to larger cultural buildings such as libraries and museums. And also an important part of the programme is the master planning of urban landscape to really sort of help an area evolve. So recent project students have sort of taken place at the moment they've mapped the land use of all the buildings in Sligo. And this data is very important for other organisations to make informed decisions about design. They also have redesigned the riverbank area of Sligo and proposed different buildings for that site. So I'm very delighted to say that the students get the opportunity to design projects that address real issues, and they have an important part of reimagining the future of Sligo. And then being able to apply these skills across, across global situations.
And can you tell us about the YIDA Showcase, Bernadette, that runs every year, and also the YIDA Yearbook that's launched?
Yeah, so which is this. The YIDA Showcase is fantastic. It's a collaborative exhibition with all of the different programs in the Yates Academy, and it's really a wonderful opportunity for students of architecture to be able to show their year's work alongside fellow artists, interior architects, theatre, writing and design students. So this is a celebration of talent, and it is also accompanied by a publication where each student has a page to display a summary of their own work. And not only does it sort of showcase their work, but it's the opportunities there for a great means of networking through the publication and through the collaborative exhibition.
Very good. I'd highly recommend for any art and design student considering any of our programs to check out that yearbook. It can be found on our CIO hub. And lastly, Bernadette, can you tell us what is the job market like at the moment for architect graduates?
Well, luckily, at present, the employment for architecture graduates is excellent. We've sort of come out of the crash of the sort of the Celtic Tiger, and there is a huge opportunity for students. So currently we have students at the end of year 3 who are working in practices throughout Ireland, and there's great opportunity for a diversity of a range of jobs, both in Ireland and abroad. So at the minute, so at present, it's an excellent profession to study.
That's fantastic. Bernadette, thank you so much for that oversight. No doubt that's been very helpful for a lot of our applicants, so thank you. Now, I will now move on to interior architecture and design. So we offer this at a level 8 and a level 7. So Masha, can I ask you, can you tell us what is the study of interior architecture and design?
Hello, everyone. The Interior Architecture and Design program focuses really on reinvention and reimagination, but most importantly of existing spaces and existing structures. So it examines the relationship between the human body and the space. It examines the relationship of the human body and the environment. And if we compare it, since we're talking about it just after the talk about architecture, it's different in scale. So the problems that that interior architects are dealing with and observing are, first of all, located in architectural buildings, in buildings that already, generally speaking, in spaces and buildings that already exist. And also they kind of deal with more tactile properties, with the finer detail of light, color, textures, materials that are used, and so on. So when saying that the focus is on existing structures, the interior architecture often adds the final layer. It can redefine or the architecture that is in place, or it can work in synergy with it, but it crafts the internal space. And it considers both functional and aesthetic elements. It brings them together, and it kind of gives the whole picture and the final layer to and the character to the space. We in Interior Architecture and Design program, we insist and we really have a strong sustainability component in place. First of all, in reusing our built heritage and what is already around us, and then we also emphasize the importance of sustainable practices through recycling, through use of locally sourced materials and other elements that make the whole process conscious of the environment. Our core vision for the program are three philosophical aspirations. One is the care for human experience. The other, the inspired, environmentally conscious response to place through community, location, and culture. And the third one is the creative communication and global engagement.
Fantastic. And can you tell me, I know recently we have had a lot of our past students have won a lot of some excellent awards with our projects. Could you share with our viewers what award that was, and also what kind of projects students might undertake when they study this course?
So in Ireland, we have the YIDA Graduate Awards. They're the Institute of Designers of Ireland, and they have the ceremony with annual awards for different categories in design, interior architecture and design being one of those categories. In the year of 2020, our level 7 graduate won the YIDA Award for Interior Design, the category of Interior Design. It's Jasmine Lee, and the following year, I should also say that she was shortlisted with 2 of her projects and won obviously with 1. And then the following year, we had 2 students being shortlisted, and Carmen Chalk was commended in the interior design category. So we're very proud of our students, and we're also we're happy for our program to be so prominently featured in what is the very prestigious award for graduates.
Okay, very good. And can you talk to us about the sandwich year that's offered on the Level 8 program? It takes place in year 3.
Yes, so the Level 8 program is relatively new. We're now, we will be enrolling our 3rd generation of Level 8s in September 2020. And it's a very exciting program, and Sandwich Year is what makes it really exciting. So it's the year that falls between the 2nd and the final year, which is why it's called the Sandwich Year, and also because it gives different opportunities. So there are opportunities for people, for students to find work placement. There are also opportunities to study through the Erasmus program, and there are opportunities to enroll in a varied, so obviously interior architecture and design is part of the Yates Academy of Art, Design and Architecture. So there will be opportunities for students to study different modules across the entire Yates Academy, which is really exciting because it gives students a kind of better understanding of the wider practices, both in fine arts, in creative design, and obviously interior architecture and design that already exists. But it places their own expertise in the wider field, which I think is really a good experience. There is also the training for enterprise. So the Sandwich Year was envisaged as a response to the various various aspirations that our students have, and it's designed to give them the broadest possible experience. So there are details that students, if they have inquiries, that we can discuss with each student, and it generally comes after kind of coming into the program and understanding where they're going and where they see themselves going after graduating, and then they can tailor the sandwich year to their own needs.
That's amazing. Okay, and my last question will be, what type of jobs can students get when they graduate from these programs, and what is the job market like at the moment?
At the moment, it's excellent. I think part of it is obviously due to the pandemic and due to people understanding the importance of the inside space, which it's an unfortunate event, but it actually raised our awareness, which I think is good overall. And I'm hoping to see that awareness staying with us even after the pandemic. And but the market is so students can find employment both in interior architecture, they can work in interior design. Very often they're part of architects' firms, but they focus obviously on the interior design. They can also specialize in lighting design, they can work as set designers and so on. So it's quite broad and it's quite creative and it's quite open.
Amazing. I know if I was to go back to college myself, I would study this course in a heartbeat. I follow so many interior architects on Instagram. I'm in awe of the work. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much for that oversight. I'll now move on to Aaron. So let's talk about our Bachelor of Arts in Creative Design. So Aaron, you're a current student. Can you tell us what led you to choosing this course?
Well, I suppose it kind of all first started back in secondary school. So I was quite interested in the likes of, using my hands and kind of art and stuff like that. And then, of course, I came to one of the open days, and then that really just solidified it for me, just speaking to past students and seeing that the work that they would have done. And that was kind of really it. And then it was set in stone from there. So.
Fabulous. And can you list out some of the modules that you've studied over the years? And I suppose, what was your favourite?
Of course, yeah. So throughout the years, they kind of vary a little, very small bit. But you do have some ones that are brought through, like the likes of your product design, your design and context, stuff like that. But I suppose for my favorite one would have been a new one for this year, which was branding. So we got to create our own design studio, and we were teamed up for this, and we got to create logos, and we even had to make a video for it as well, which is a bit of fun as well. So yeah, that was definitely one that I was highly interested in. And of course, product design as well would definitely be the two that I was kind of, most invested in. So yeah, definitely them two would be my favorites anyway. So
you're gaining such a broad range of skills there. I've heard videography, I've heard graphic design, I've heard product design, so it's quite broad. So as we know, it's a very practical based program. You spend a lot of time in the studio. Can you give us an idea of a type of project that you might have worked on in the last few years?
Of course, yeah. So one that will always stick out to me was when we were back in third year, we were tasked with designing a vinyl record player. This had to have some sort of a special feature as well. So for instance, mine was like a piece of furniture that you could also use as a vinyl record player, and that also had some storage. But the fun thing about creating products is the lecturers do require 3D mock-ups. So we were in lockdown, we were studying online, stuff like that. So the best thing was going around the house, seeing what materials we had, just basically taking all the different cereal boxes from your housemates and everything and just cutting them up, and actually making a 3D mock-up as well. So that was definitely one of the highlights. So
oh, that sounds fantastic. And tell us, how are you finding the new creative design studios and the new facilities within the new department of YIDA?
Definitely brilliant. Yeah, it's a major upgrade, and really wouldn't diss it at all. It's really nice environment, and everybody is kind of like intermingling with the other kind of groups as well in the YIDA, and that way you can kind of like take their experiences and your own experiences and kind of mash them together, and possibly further on with your own projects and stuff like that as well. So yeah, it's definitely a lovely place to be, and they offer. It's, you know, it's really spacious and bright and stuff like that as well. So yeah, it's just a good environment overall.
Brilliant. And when you graduate, when you finish up, Aaron, what are your long-term goals?
Okay, so I suppose product design was definitely the one that has been the strongest, I suppose. But getting the branding module this year has kind of changed my mind a little bit. So I'm really interested in that as well. And I suppose at the end of it, I want to do a bit of photography as well. So a little bit of everything, and just kind of, yeah, just see where it goes. But branding and product design, definitely the two strongest ones there. So
brilliant. And what would you say is the best thing about this course that you think new applicants should know?
Yeah, so definitely one of the best things is the YIDA Academy, I suppose. You are definitely surrounded with all these different kind of skills and these different experiences that people can offer you. So back a few years ago, we would have done like an interdisciplinary kind of course where, you know, you spent the first 2 weeks working on projects across the different academies, so like different courses like fine art and interior architecture and stuff like that, working with other students to, you know, make this kind of project, run it all the way through the 2 weeks and see what comes out of that as well. So yeah, I definitely think that would make you definitely very attractive to employers and really boost your skill set for obviously your future career and stuff like that as well. So
brilliant. Thank you so much, Aaron. And you know what, speaking about the jobs market, I wanted to share with our viewers, you know, the job market for creative design is looking very bright. And I have it wrote down here, in 2020, a report was issued by the expert group on future skill needs. And it found that by 2025, occupations in digital, product and strategic design could see a growth of between 21,000 and 33,000 in this area. So only every year, there's only 1,300 students who graduate with these required skills. So the future for the job market for creative design is certainly very bright. So Aaron, thank you so much for that. It's lovely to get the student input, and I've no doubt that you've helped a lot of applicants there. So thank you so much. So that brings us to the end of our talk. I'd like to thank all our panelists. That was absolutely fantastic. If anyone has any questions, we are live until 9 p.m. tonight. So please pop your question into the Q&A section of this page. And if you have any questions after this event, please visit our CAO hub or our social media forums, and please reach out, and we'd be more than happy to help you with anything that you want to ask. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the rest of our event this evening, and take care.